I'll tell you one quick thing here. One quick thing, because this goes to revenue generation. So last month we didn't hit our goal in the office. And my comment to Peg and Darcy was, part of the problem is I'm in the office too much. That was honest, guy. I said, I'm trying to fix things that are in the trenches when, so I'm not focused on revenue generation, I'm focused on these problems. I said, this is what I said. I think I'm going to take 3 weeks out of the office. Like just 3 weeks. And every day, all I'm going to do is work on revenue generation. And I'm just not even going to, I mean, Peg and Darcy will have access to me if they want. But you know what? They're smart enough to figure things out. But my goal is to generate revenue. So 80% of my time spending on the 5% of the revenue generation activities, but 90% of the problems that Peg and Darcy are smart enough to handle without me. Right? You know, Ed, we need to talk about this. Not really, you don't. You're smart enough than that. You're smarter than me on half this stuff, right? So 80% of stuff's doing the wrong things. So the big breakthroughs or stress relief aren't necessarily the result of new or astonishing creative ideas. How many of you have ever read like any of Brian Tracy's books? Brian Tracy, success guy. If you actually took every success book that was the most famous books ever, like The Secret just came out, and everyone's like, whoa, The Secret's out, which, wow, my life's changed because of The Secret. Well, yeah, I can tell you 8 books that have The Secret off the top of my head, the same exact, you know, Wayne Dyer's book, Napoleon Hill's book, Tony Robbins' book has The Secret. I mean, he stole everything from everybody. Earl Nightingale wrote a book called The Strangest Secret. Wow, they really deviated a lot from the title there, you know. I mean, you know, so I could tell you so it's there. We don't need to create new ideas. We just got to implement the ones that work. Each member of your team has a unique ability, a unique role to play. People who regularly keep a journal or some kind of written record pertaining to their aspirations are 32% more likely to feel like they are making progress in their lives. Napoleon Hill, in his book Think and Grow Rich, he talks about like the 1922 or 1902, I can't remember, his like Harvard graduate club. Or graduates, I'm sorry, like people who graduated. I think it was 5% of the graduates had written, specific, measurable, attainable goals. I shouldn't even say attainable, because who knows what's attainable, right? But they had specific, measurable, trackable goals. Those top 5% in 20 years had more wealth than the other 95%. Had 95, it's like almost a perfect correlation, is that 5% had 95% of the total wealth of the entire class. Because they had a specific, when we write it down, massive, major things come into our life. Teams in the workplace composed of people with differing personalities are 14% more productive than teams composed of more compatible individuals. Think about that. You know, I want people who are different, who have completely different perspectives on things. And you should too. You do not want a bunch of lemmings, you know, because the lemmings will just follow, you know. I mean, you want some people to come up and challenge you, and not challenge you, but challenge the thinking, you know. Hey, I want all you guys to go in a room and come out with the best game plan. Well, if they all go in and one person speaks and everybody goes, oh, that sounds good. That's great. That's great. Then they come out with no creative juices at all. And the thing is if that occurs, and this is what's going to happen, they're going to think traditionally, not counterintuitively, because no one's challenging them. And we always know that it's the counterintuitive ideas that bring out the best results. It's not the traditional idea. Traditional ideas, 95% of the time, will not work. They just won't. They just won't.